Hello, everyone. My name is Kirsten VanderJagt, and I am with Moving Forward Properties, LLC, and also Katie's House Foundation. And today we have Julie and Ferraro on with us. Julie, you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Everything's going great over here in the Midwest.
So it has been a little while since we have had the opportunity to jump on YouTube and provide some content, but we are going to do as much as we can moving forward because over the last couple of years, there has been a ton happening with our private money, hard money, DSCR financing, bridge loans, building, traveling, and then also, of course, Katie's House Foundation as a 501c3 doing financial literacy education over the summer last year. And maybe again over summer this year. Julie, do you want to just chime in and kind of explain anything? Today we're going to really be unscripted and raw to fill you guys in for the next hour or so.
I want to welcome everybody. Thanks for watching. Kirsten and I have known each other for a long time, been in the real estate business for a long time. During my time, I struggled a lot with the financing part of it and doing those step-ups with your portfolio. Over the time that we've been kind of quiet on this channel, we have changed out, and I've started the Moving Forward Properties LLC loan brokerage. We started with a couple of partners, and we're just pushing it out, trying to get the word out on some of the great products that we're offering. I'm still in law enforcement, and I can't get away from that. But yeah, it's been busy. It's been good. I went out and visited you in Lake Havasu, watched your builds out there, and just visiting with other real estate investors also when I was out there and builders.
Yeah, it was really great to have you come out. And I'm really excited for you to have a brokerage, what started as a brokerage and actually as a correspondent lender. And so at Moving Forward Properties, as a correspondent lender, what that means is that we have access to super great loan products that require no income. You don't even have to state your job. So no employment, stated or verified, no tax returns, no asset statements, no loan payments, no personal debt to income ratio. You can even do a soft credit check on some of these programs. Even we have a partner who will close in a living trust. So if you have someone who's not letting you do that, then we have so many solutions now. And so Julie came out with her husband and visited with myself and my husband, and then also JJ VanderJagt and his wife, which is my cousin. And between our partnership here at Moving Forward Properties and then also Katie's House Foundation, since we still all three are involved with that nonprofit and we oversee it, the amount of money that we can give to our listeners is unlimited. Unlimited, guys, with like pretty much nothing except for a pulse. And I know some people are going to be like, oh my gosh, that is the loans that caused the crash in 2008. That is not exactly true. I actually was working for Bear Stearns in 2006, 7, and 8 when that happened. And those loans are not what caused the problem. And it is different now, almost 20 years later, but we can still do those, what are called no doc loans. So that means, again, no income, no employment even stated, no tax returns, no personal debt to income ratio. You guys, you can have 20 cars. And so you can literally buy a house, a 1 to 4 unit right now. And you can either fix and flip it if you want and make on average 50 grand. We'll help you, totally help you. You could do a rental if you're in that game, whether it's long-term rental, vacant, or short-term or mid-term, those kinds of things. And then of course, if you're a builder, so I actually am a builder. I love buying dirt cheap. And then there's a really big Acorn at the end. So on that Acorn note, I'm going to have Julie take it over because we have so many exciting things coming up. And so Julie, do you want to talk about our new Acorn campaign at all?
Yeah. So we've partnered with several companies and we've come up with this great idea, which I actually have to give you some of the credit, Kirsten, for the Acorn idea, but we've integrated a little bit of AI. I know people are kind of against it sometimes, but it's obvious that it's got little squirrels and little acorns in it. And there is gold at the end of a lot of your projects. And you just really sometimes can't collect that gold, right? Because we're out there doing the hard work. We're putting all our assets and our money into it. And in the end, we really want to make a profit. So These products that we're able to get for people allow them to keep that money in their pocket as opposed to holding it out and doing those things. So it's really great that we have the ability to hit those builders and get them special products that allow them to get that money out of escrow quicker and get those builds done faster too as well, because now they're not waiting for the money to come back to them. They can pull it out right away. So our campaign is Jess is our AI lady, and she's surrounded by squirrels and golden acorns. I think it's really going to be, if you check our website out, you'll see that we have her on there along with the squirrels, and we've got buttons on there for you to click to get a term sheet, see if we can help you with your deal. And we've got a lot of explanation on there, and we've also got some webinars coming up that you're going to host, Kirsten, so that'll be great too. Like I said earlier, I was in real estate. I've been that long-term landlord. I didn't do short-term rentals, but I've done the long-term rentals. I know that money can be a big holdup for people, and you feel like you just can't expand. So I'm really excited to be able to give people the opportunity to expand their business. Those people that are mid-level investors, they're not at the very beginning. They're not doing the whole, they're actually the ones that have established their business. They have an LLC, which I would hope either have, some people do it sole proprietor, but as you always are taught in the real estate education, that the LLC is the best thing because it does limit the liability. And that's the kind of product that you're giving people the advantage of having that LLC and having that ability to build your business because you're not putting it on your personal self.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love what you said about mid-level residential real estate investors. I do want to mention, though, that if you're brand new and you've never done a deal, please continue to watch the content because we're going to be going over so much good information for people that have never done a deal before, and it's completely free. So if you can help us, and please subscribe, make sure that you are subscribed and that you have the bell on and that you're liking the information. It's completely free, guys. And I have been in the business for 23 years, since like right around 01, 02. And I recently was the EVP of lending for a great private money firm. Before that, I was doing recruiting, training, and also closing loans, also being like on the front lines. And now I am working for Moving Forward Properties as the EVP of lending, because these products that we have available, some people think going direct to a lender is the best thing to do, but the truth is that having the ability to come to us at myportfolioloan.com, if you want to get pre-approved or if you want to get a term sheet, we love looking at term sheets and beating our competitors for sure. We now have the ability as a correspondent lender to do things that brokers cannot do and also that direct lenders can't do. It's super exciting. And I feel really blessed that I have been in underwriting and been an EVP of lending and had the opportunity, because when I look at deals, I just want to help people so much, even if they're brand new, mid-level, or you've done 10 builds or 20 builds or 30 builds or 40 builds. The truth is, if you are working with somebody who's not giving you the best rate and points or the best service, we definitely at Moving Forward Properties have a very high expectation of service level. And so what you're going to see and get from us is the best, the absolute best. You're going to get great communication, very honest, and very quick, responsive team, because there are so many jokers out there. Now, Julie, being that you've been in law enforcement, that you do some cybersecurity and you do like all kinds of stuff, and that I've been where I've been, it's kind of cool being like the cop or the detective and then the banker kind of a thing, because we really just want you to make money. And now both of us together at Moving Forward Properties have built something in the last 2 years where we can dole out the money, guys, like in any major metropolitan area. But we are going to be focused on Nashville and also on Orlando. But if you are in 47 states in a major metropolitan area and you don't want to verify your income, or you can't, even if you're a consumer, this is really, really important, guys. I wanted to say this. Julie was touching on business to business, which is our business dealing with other businesses, established LLCs, LPs, or corporations. Yes, we love dealing with business to business, but if you want to set up a new LLC, LP, or corp, it's so easy to do. You guys know that I've done, I think, like 13 of them and bought and sold some companies and assets and stuff. But basically, we have this really, really amazing loan product where if your 1 to 4 unit property is vacant, let's say that you move out tomorrow into an Airbnb and it's on the market, or you haven't even listed it yet. So this would be business to consumer. We can still do the same exact thing and give you up to $500,000 cash right now. And it doesn't even matter about your employment or income or tax returns or debts. We can even waive off loan payments, you guys, so you have no loan payments. And this is where this whole Acorn and squirrel thing came from, because not only is there a huge Acorn and money when you do a profitable real estate investment, which we look at really quickly on the front end, which you probably already know it's profitable, but we're going to lend to you. So if you are somebody who inherited a property and you have 20% equity and you're not a real estate investor, you're just an average, and you're sitting on that vacant property, or you're sitting in it and you're moving out tomorrow, or you can move out tomorrow, and you want to get money, we can give you money in the next 14 days. And all you need to do is let us know that you want us to order an appraisal for you, and we will do that for you today. And literally, you could have $500,000 wired into your bank account in 14 business days with pretty much no other documentation. And I say pretty much because we have to order your title report to make sure that the liens get paid off if there are liens. And we have to ask you for your insurance to make sure that there's property insurance. So there's really not a whole lot to it. And I just think that's so amazing, because people right now need money more than ever, even if they're not a real estate investor, like self-proclaimed, right? They just have some property. So Julie, what do you think about B2C and B2B and all of those loan products?
Yeah, I just had a friend that was moving out of a condo, and he was buying a piece of land, and he needed to be able to have that flexibility, right? And he had all his equity into the condo, but he needed to also buy cash to either move to the next property to rehab that one. And that worked out great. Like I said, on my side with the rentals and the flips, I think these are great products. I think people can sit and listen to some of the things that these jokers have out there, that the loan sounds so great to be true. Obviously, we do have fail safes. We do want to make sure that the lenders that we deal with are protected, in the sense that we are doing the title searches, we are checking out the insurance is on there. And that's it, though. We're not going off of how many other loan mortgages you may already have in your portfolio, or if you are a builder and you've got this project going, that you've got something else you want to get started, and now's the time, and the fire's hot, and if you don't strike now, you're not going to get that deal. And that's where these products come in. And I think we really have the opportunity to share the wealth, right? I mean, that's really what we want people to do. We really want people to succeed, and we want them to be able to make that project and get that deal done so that it is profitable. And that's where we as real estate investors ourselves are so excited when we hear, hey, these are available. These are products that people don't necessarily hear about, right? Because the bank isn't going to sell you this product. Yes, there are timelines, but there's some also great things that we wrap in there where this person wasn't going to have to make any payments on that loan, because it's all part of the loan package to begin with.
So you said two things that are so important. One, about what we call bridge financing. So it's a bridge loan. Not many people talk about it. I have scoured, and there are not many people who even offer a true bridge loan. Those are like from 20 years ago, to be honest. There are some people who do, but mostly they don't talk about it, which brings me to the second point, which is the secret sauce. And that is something now that I'm so happy that I can talk more about, because as a W-2 employee for other firms, I was not able to always share all of the information, meaning that there is really cool stuff that we're going to be able to share now on this channel at Moving Forward Properties to help you. So please make sure, in fact, I even had someone here at my house today who was asking me all kinds of stuff. Like, he didn't know that he could go buy a 1 to 4 unit right now in town. He has a small business, and they only qualify for half a house, like with their self-employed or W-2 income. And so I told them either on a bridge loan or a DSCR loan. Now, that's not the truth for all bridge and all DSCR, but for our alignments, we don't need track record, which is what Julie is saying. So for those two particular loan programs, I told them, like, listen, you don't need, even though you qualified at a bank for half a house for here in town, we'll just get you a 2-unit, and basically the rent on the other unit will cover the whole thing. Granted, he would not be able to live in that house because it would be a rental, but what's really interesting is that then he can collect rent on the other one, and then he would have income from that if he wanted to take that to a bank in a year versus like he's trying to double his business. So when you deal with Julie and I, we are very no nonsense, and we are very focused on the strategy and giving you the money and the solution and not holding that to our vest, because when everyone succeeds, there's nothing bad about that, right? So the more that you tune in, you're going to just learn a ton, and these loans are absolutely life-changing. That's a huge statement for me to make, that the loans that we do are life-changing, but they absolutely are, and most people just don't know that they exist. Even if you're a seasoned investor, like a seasoned builder, for example, you could do a refinance and partial lien releases, which means that if you own like 2 or 3 acres and you want to cut off an acre, you can do that, and you could do it before or after, like during the loan, and you can get cash out right now. And let's say 50 grand cash out. Like, we love giving cash out. It's our most favorite thing. So purchases are great, but cash out is better, because who doesn't love cash? But imagine, like, if you are a builder and you're sitting on dirt right now, I would love to help you parcel it and then give you a loan for that, so you can definitely go build another unit, because so many people are lacking housing in the United States. It's just the way that it is, and we have more people post-COVID moving from other areas of the country, right? So there's plenty of people that are coming here, and they need housing. And so if you are a builder, we have the best builder loan. It is life-changing, absolutely, in the way that you can do partial lien releases, you can do cash out refinances, and you can do finance loan payments, so you don't have to do out of payments, which is humongous. And then separate to that, we have a flip loan where, in addition, you can do advanced construction draws. Now, I will tell you, if you are a builder, you need track record. If you are a flipper and you want advanced construction draws, you do need track record. So we really want to develop a relationship with you. We are relationship based in the way that we want to work with people who are like us. They're honest, they're no nonsense. If you don't have the financial means yet to do a deal, then you should probably continue to align with people who maybe are a money partner. But if you have money, either in a retirement, an IRA, or you are an established investor, then we can help you, and the sky is the limit. And then if you are just the average Joe and you have a vacant 1 to 4 unit property on less than 10 acres, you can't, or you don't want to verify all the paperwork, come to us, let us give you $500,000. I could not be more excited about everything we've done in the last 2 years, because it funnels into our nonprofit work at Katie's House Foundation. And we have divested from one state, and we are more focused right now on building things in Arizona. But of course, as we do anything in one area and we make sure that it's going really fabulously, then we can just extend it out through all of our friends and family who help us do that, and they can make money as employees. Julie, I actually want you to touch on like this dream of the foundation being able to offer a work program. And if you see that happening for Katie's House Foundation, let's say that a bunch of people call Moving Forward Properties, or they go to our website, myportfolioloan.com, and they're just in a slew asking for these very easy loans so they can make money or get cash out. Don't you think that we could employ so many people who will take our training, live up to our expectations, and then offer people the best solutions and give them money within a few weeks? And we could have, I would like to say, 1 million people that could work part-time. That's also a very huge number. But we have the expectations. We have now so many people around us that are willing to make that happen, that if we were to open up that opportunity, let's say in 2027, once we have so many people contacting us for these great loans, again, these are not requiring tax returns or any of that other stuff. These are fantastic. So what do you think, Julie?
No, so as part of my law enforcement, I am involved in drug court. And one of the things that Katie's house is kind of wrapped into, and it doesn't just account for where I'm at, it accounts for where you're at, it accounts for anywhere in the United States. Most likely you will have some type of drug or mental health or veterans court. And those programs really need people that have a housing issue where they can't afford a house on their own. Me as a landlord, I just can't, I don't feel comfortable renting to somebody that's just getting back on their feet. So Katie's House Foundation, we not only try to tie people in with the shared housing where they're not paying for the full house, they're paying for less than the house, but they're sharing it, right? That they also are able to establish themselves again and get that job going, but they also learn about financial education, and they learn about what it takes to actually do some of the basic things that we really don't teach our kids. And obviously that's one of the things that you were doing this last summer, is you were targeting those high school kids where they're learning how to be a better manager of their money, right? And those are the kind of things that we really like to do. Some of the previous videos that we've recorded touch on some of those curriculums that we do touch on in person, if we were able to do an in-person class, just so people can learn about the financial future for themselves. And not only could they succeed in the sense that they're now able to get out of whatever issue they were in. It could be anything. Trust me, I've dealt with it all. It's not just drug and alcohol problems or mental health. It could be homelessness that they're dealing with, but they are able to get out of that, or a domestic violence situation, and move on. But they are able to also wrap that education in with the financial and build their own business, do things that they like to do. So that's really the backside of this, and the pain that people, the pain isn't just everybody's struggling, right? Look at the gas prices, look at the housing prices, look at some of the places housing is so competitive right now that it's hard to find good deals, right? We as real estate investors, our opportunities are shrinking sometimes because there isn't as many people able to do anything, because if they do one little thing, they could lose everything that they have. And obviously we've lived through some of those. We've lived through recessions, we've lived through some of this other stuff, and building your life and building your wealth behind that is very important. And I think obviously you need the foundation to do that. And where do you get that foundation? You get that foundation from your financial education. So like I said, I'm excited to be part of Katie's House Foundation. I'm excited to be doing the Moving Forward Properties LLC and giving those loans opportunities to people that may have thought, I can only scale my business so far because I'm limited now. I can't take out more mortgages. I'm limited because I need that draw for that construction, or I need that draw for that flip. And I'm limited on what I can do. I got to pay my guys. I got to do project management. And that's where we come in, that we can all help each other, really.
So what I heard you say was that when you are working with Moving Forward Properties and Katie's House Foundation over the foreseeable future, not only would you have an opportunity to learn about financial literacy on our YouTube, but you will at some point have an opportunity to work with us in person. We do travel, and yeah, we want to make these jobs available to people to provide loans, right? So we want to be handing out loan after loan after loan every single day, so many of them, to anyone who needs it and qualifies, who doesn't want to provide bank statements, employment, because they either can't or they won't, like they don't qualify. Some people go to their bank and they have too many cars or student loans, and so they just basically are in a situation where they can't refinance or can't purchase. And that is not the case with us, guys. It's absolutely amazing when you come to us and you strategize, or you already are in the game of buying these properties. Now, Julie, what I heard you say is a couple different things. If like one opportunity is shrinking for existing investors, if you are a builder, a flipper, or a landlord, because we have been on a very good run over the last 10 years in most markets. And so we actually do have a great solution for you if you are looking for legitimate lead sources. Because of AI, we have really great AI partners now. So there's so much coming that can help you on that front if you're established or also if you're new. But get cash out of your properties through us right now. So that way, when that opportunity crops up, you can, of course, take advantage of it. Also, getting things off your personal credit so your credit score goes up. That's one of the main advantages of closing in an LLC or an LP or a corp, which costs like $600 in a few days to set up. And then when we talk about katieshousefoundation.org, you guys can go to that website. And if you wanted to, you'll just learn a ton more about our nonprofit side of things. But we have something called Shelter Registry. And so what that is, you're going to be hearing more and more about that when you subscribe to this channel or follow along. And so what that is that is a place for landlords. Like, let's say, because a lot of Airbnb, you might not be able to have an Airbnb permit anymore, or even a landlord permit from the county or the city. If you were to list your property on shelter-registry.com, I think we have it set at $15 a month. Your address is hidden. And so with Julie's help, being in law enforcement, we put together this amazing registry where you can put your property on there and you can pin it next to a hospital or a park. And then people who want to pay by the room, either through government funding or they're on Social Security or disability, or they're aged out foster care, they can be like divorced. It's for anybody, guys. But in particular, it's for government, like social services and police officers. They go there and they search for free to find your advertisement, and then they can take a picture of themselves and put in a couple bits of information, or the police could take a picture of, let's say that it was a battered woman or aged out foster or any type of situation. Heaven forbid the parents were to pass away and they need to find housing for the kids. But this is the glue is Shelter Registry, that basically we need people who own these, what we call boutique shelters. We can help you. You can go, of course, on this channel, you can watch our 12 hours if you want to have a legitimate 501c3. We give it all away for free and tell you exactly how to do that. But you don't need to have a 501c3 to do this and use a border lease. You can go right now. We have everything that you would want between our YouTube channel, what you're watching, and our different, that's a software as a service. But you can put your property on there right now. That way someone like Julie or anyone in the community could come and rent by the room. And of course, renting by the room can be more profitable, or even as profitable as an Airbnb, because you might have a 4-bedroom house and have it rented for a good amount per room, but you might have a little bit more turnover just like an Airbnb. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm super excited because we have so much valuable, like, that we can give, where you can actually make money and increase your everything. I'm excited.
Well, we are solving some issues, right? We're solving the bigger issue in our society right now, where housing costs in certain areas are so high right now. I mean, people are renting out their garages because they can't afford their own mortgages. So we're dealing with that, but then we're dealing with people that are living from day to day. And the Katie's House Foundation helps with that aspect, but it also ties back to the fact that we have the opportunity as real estate investors to diversify a little bit of our portfolio. And we're not just doing fix and flips. If we want to invest in long term, that we're not just stuck we're not just stuck with leasing out our apartment or our units for a whole year, that we have more options, that we have these other things that we can do a little bit more creative. And as you mentioned, some of the cities and counties are cutting down on the Airbnbs because they don't know who's living there for the time being, or they don't know what's going on. So I think having the ability to see what is going on in society and seeing that everybody wants these issues solved, or having a better way to have more affordable housing, and that there are ways to have more affordable housing, and there are a lot of professionals. I share my house here in the Midwest, Florida. I have property down there. So I think that it's kind of interesting how you can go to other parts of the country and you see that it thrives a lot. The shared housing thrives a lot in areas where it's not as easy to get a whole place by yourself. So it definitely works. like I said, the loan products that we have definitely work for people that are in the business of real estate and want to expand or get some more of their portfolio diversified.
Diversification is going to be huge. When we talk about shared housing, though, guys, there are not many loans available for that. I do want to be clear that that is not our specialty as far as financing those, but certainly it is our specialty on the 501c3 and having had them. And then also now we're in the midst of building for that purpose, which is a forever legacy goal of me personally at Katie's House Foundation. I don't know, but when you have a 501c3, you can't actually dissolve it. The Attorney General has to do that. So I love that we're going to be talking about all these different types of structures, business structures, as we have personally gone through them and why we have done certain things, and then the lending around that. Now, we do know there are some lenders who will, of course, finance those that are active shared housing versus vacant, for example. Like we have, and we specialize in vacant homes. So that could be a vacant flip, right? Or a renovation. So some people are not in the flip business, they're in the renovation business. It's interesting how also throughout the country, the terminology is different, and that will impact people's perception. But what I'm getting at is that if you have a vacant property, 1 to 4 units on less than 10 acres, and you don't want to verify income, then that we would be a great partner for that. Whether it is a flip, going to be a build, you could add on an additional dwelling unit, of course, so units, whether you split or not split. And then you have all these different types of rental categories. And of course, if you are in the shared housing sector, then let's still get together and talk about so many things, because Julie being a career detective and being on the board, not the board, well, Katie's House board, but then the courts. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about the courts and like what you've been doing this year in 2026?
Yeah, so I actually worked for a small department. I worked for a bigger department in the suburbs of Chicago. I currently am on the board, or I'm the law enforcement liaison for the Cook County, Illinois, District 3 courts. So I'm actively in on the decisions being made, how the participants are doing. Same thing with mental health court, veterans court. We're there to support them. I'm there to show them that the only time they see the police is not when they get arrested, that we do want them to do good. We want them to turn their lives around. They obviously have a lot of issues when we get them, and we do have strict guidelines. We have qualifications. They have to qualify to be in the program, but once they're in the program, it's a 2-year program. So they do have a lot to go through, a lot of things that they find themselves in, situations that they're not comfortable with and they don't like. The reward on my side is, like I said, they see me not just when they're arrested, they see me when they've done good. I've seen people turn their lives around literally. I've got some people that I dealt with on the streets for years, and now I'm seeing them and they're older, but they've come to the drug court, part of their agreement, and they are succeeding, they're changing. And that's where, and this person is actually struggling right now, trying to find a place to live. A lot of times they're forced to go back with their families. They can't really get a place on their own. So yeah, so I've been involved in that for a couple of years, and I still do some private security work here or there. And I travel between here and Florida, and I take vacations once or twice to see some of my friends, and I talk to people about loan products all the time.
Yeah, I mean, in our spaces, it's kind of natural. So what I think is interesting that you were just talking about is a 2-year program, because at Katie's House Foundation, our length of stay is 2 years. And so the other thing that you talked about is being forced to go back with their family. And I remember when we were dealing with people who had gotten better, and then their environment, they think that they can go back, or they're forced to go back into the same environment which they left, and then they digress. And how different.
Very common. It takes a lot of inner decisions and even probably the dopamine in their brain with some of the substances that they've taken to change, that they really don't get sucked back in. But there are a lot of times when they do get sucked back in, which would be a relapse or lack in judgment that they have. So yes, it's very frustrating when you are able to see the light at the end of the tunnel for them, but then they turn around and they can't afford a house on their own. So they're forced to find somewhere to live. And usually I think a lot of these are funded by grants and funded by other things. So we run into problems because some of the care is taken care of, but then when they get to a point where they have to start supporting themselves, they have a lot of other obligations that they can't work as much hours as maybe somebody else. So there's a shortfall in their income and they cannot afford to rent a whole apartment by themselves.
If I could succinctly share the vision at Katie's House Foundation and Moving Forward Properties, I think it would look something like this, and it would be great if we had like a diagram at some point. But if somebody is living in one of the rooms, let's say they go on Shelter Registry and they find a room for rent and they're either in a program or not in a program, either way it's fine. But let's say they're working at McDonald's or Subway or a local job of any type, and they're able to pay, let's call it $1,000 a month. It might be higher in some areas, it might be lower in some areas. And they can accumulate the skills and discipline and decision-making abilities necessary over the course of 2 years. And they follow along on this YouTube channel and they get the financial literacy education that we will inherently be going over because of who we are and what we do. And they get their credit in good order, which if you guys want to check out our channel, we have something all about like pulling free credit report. And essentially, we can then help them buy a place with one of these loans where then they will be able to, without having to work, making $250,000, they will qualify using the rental income or no income on a flip or a rental. So that way they can essentially become a property owner using the loans that we have available while they're working at McDonald's or Subway. And they don't even have to verify their employment. It's just that their income might be smaller. They can only afford one room, and they could continue renting that room and own property and pull cash out of those properties. Imagine in 10 years, their life could be completely different. Your life could be completely different. That is the power of our 501c3 efforts and executing that over the coming generations. Like I said, many, many years, but we've got to get started, and we have gotten started years ago. Now combining that with a correspondent lender, which is the other side of what we are so passionate about doing. So we look forward to working with anyone who is serious about making humongous or even small strides in their life financially and also with their health and with their relationships, even if that relationship is with themselves. So please continue to tune in. Again, my name is Kirsten VanderJagt. I am the EVP of Lending here at Moving Forward Properties and the founder of Katie's House Foundation 501c3. We look forward to talking with you next time. Have a great day.